Lots of alarming headlines in the news recently regarding Palantir. We've seen a lot of volatility in the stock price. We've seen a lot of big names putting their money into Palantir. And we've also seen some more alarming headlines of insider trading. And we're going to take a look at the Form 4s to see kind of exactly what's going on with those. Check it out here. Here's the stock price from the last 3 months. We've gone up to like 40 bucks, down as low as like 24-ish. The last few days we've seen a lot of drama with a lot of people taking the chance to quote unquote buy the dip at 25-ish bucks. Check it out. Here is one of the big headlines. Palantir sinks 13% as filings show 3 top executives offloaded 2.7 million shares following lockup expiration. And they're saying that might be one of the big reasons for that dip a few days ago. So we're not really sure that offloading 2.7 million shares caused that 13% dip. When we're analyzing stocks and looking at the news, we always need to remember that our brains tend to want Twitter-sized responses. We want to break everything down simply and easily, and here are 3 steps to get rich, or here are 5 steps to get a beautiful wife, or whatever. It's never that simple. So there are a lot of different things going on at the same time. There's Palantir management selling some stocks. But we're also seeing, check it out here, the 10-year Treasury rate is starting to make its way back up from over the last 3 months. And so quick side note on what that means. Basically, investors, especially really big investors like hedge funds, are always looking for the right balance of safety and return. And for a while now, because of all the stimulus and because the government wanting to encourage people to spend money to keep the economy going, basically you get no interest rate if you put your money into bonds or treasuries or savings accounts or things like that. And so naturally people are like, why would I keep my money here? It's just going to be fading away into oblivion because of inflation. So I'm going to put my money into the stock market because I can at least maybe get something from that. But as we start to see these really safe investments start to become, start to give you a little bit of a return, people are going to start taking money back out of stocks and putting it into those safer options. And basically when you're looking at like bonds and treasury bills and stuff like that, they're generally considered the safest. So, you'll put a little bit of your portfolio into that to guarantee at least some return, even if the rocket is really marky. Even if the market is really marky? Even if the market is really rocky. So this is another one of the reasons that I think it was 2 nights ago, here in Japan, 2 days ago for you guys in the US, we saw stocks take a big slide, especially the tech stocks. And a lot of that is money being redistributed. People are thinking, hey, these are really overpriced now. Let's pull some of our money out of it, put it into safer stuff like these treasury bills, and maybe redistribute it to more traditional consumer-based companies or things like that. So all that being said, let's look at the Palantir Form 4s. Basically, Form 4s are something that company managers, company insiders have to file with the government saying, hey government, hey world, I'm an insider. I know a lot of stuff other normal investors can't know. And so I'm buying this way and I'm selling this way. I just received a bunch of stocks as payment for my work over the years, etc. So let's jump onto the computer and take a look at those. So check it out here. We have the Form 4 for Matthew Long for Palantir. He's one of the officers. It's all the document shows us. And it's really easy to get scared when you see headlines saying Palantir management is dumping all their stocks. But let's take a deeper look at this. So we have table 1 up here and then table 2 down here, breaking down a little bit about what's going on. So check it out. He's disposing of this many Class B and turning them into Class A's. So he's had Class B's already. So taking his B's, turning them into A's, taking more B's, turning them into A's, and then D, disposing of this many of the Class A's, which we find up here on table 1. So he's acquiring these Class A's, and then he's disposing of this plus this equals this. So it's just saying he's selling 500,000 shares, and he's getting a bunch of money. But it's also saying, look, after he's selling 500,000 shares, he still has 781,000 shares left. So it's not like he's abandoning the company and dumping all of his stocks and taking off. And as I mentioned in my longer, more thorough video of Palantir a few days back, if you're interested, click up here if you want to see that. But basically, last year, in coordination with the company going public, there was stock-related expenses, which caused their expenses to skyrocket short-term for a little bit there. But basically, everybody who's been working on the company over the long term, once they go public, they get stock. And so a lot of these stocks, probably most of these stocks, were just free. And they're kind of like, hey, it's a good time to cash out because I'm allowed to, because the lockup period is done. Similar story here, Form 4 for Cohen Stephen Andrew, who I think was one of the programmer guys who helped get things off the ground at the beginning. He is a director and an officer. Check it out. Similar story, turning Class Bs into Class As. So up here we have an acquisition of 2 million of the stocks, but the price is 0. So that means he's not paying for them. This is just, hey buddy, thanks for kicking butt. You are growing the company well. Here is your reward of 2 million stocks. And then it shows a bunch of disposals. So he got a bunch of free stock, and then he sold a bunch of that stock that he got for free. But he still has 200,000 shares of the stock. So it's not like he's, taking off and being like, see you later, suckers, this company's going under. He still has 200,000 shares, which is massive. Then similar story here, Form 4 for Ryan Taylor, who is an officer. Let's check out Table 2. Turning his Class Bs into Class As. And then those Class A's were 218,000 shares that he got for free. Then he went and sold a bunch of them. But he still has almost 1.6 million shares. So very much not taken off. The lockup period is done. So he's saying, hey guys, I'm just going to take a little bit of the money that I've earned through all these free shares. I still have a boatload of shares. I'm still very much invested in this company. So all that to say, in line with the lockup expiration, basically, Palantir is not a new company. They've been working, I think, for 14 years, something like that. As the company is growing and people are thinking like, hey, maybe we should IPO sometime in the future. Maybe we should offer stock to the public sometime in the future. People are saying like, hey, I want to work for Palantir. And yeah, you can pay me a salary, but I also require options and ownership in the company. And then once it goes public, all this money comes flooding into the company and all of those stock options are realized and become real money. And then they say, okay, I'm going to cash out a little bit. Maybe I'm going to go buy a house, pay off my house. Maybe I'm going to send my kids to college or pay off some big debt, or maybe just get a bunch of cash because we don't know the future of the stock price and stuff like that. So not to be alarmed. This happens all the time. There are certain ways that you can see insiders buying or selling, certain patterns that you can watch out for. And indeed, if you see like massive selling off across the board or huge portions of their shares being sold off, that shows like, oh man, this thing might be going down. So, so there's warning signs that we can look out for. But I don't think we need to be too stressed about Palantir with this activity going on right now. Do you guys have any questions? Do you have any thoughts? Looking forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comments section. Thank you guys very much for your time. Love you and talk to you soon.